Hey, high levelers, Rayo Daniel here. In this video, what we're going to cover is when people start their own software as a service company or a social media marketing agency using the GoHighlevel platform, a lot of times people struggle to build it because they don't know the niche or the niche that they're looking for to go after, why they should choose a certain niche, and then what type of offers or services should they provide for those. And if they so, what type of services, how should I offer the pricing for that? What should I charge them for it? So what I want to do is just give some generic information regarding the different type of niches, why you would want to choose a certain niche, how do you want to price it, the services that you're going to offer, things like that, and give you some examples so that those people out there that are just getting started with high level can actually start and get something at least started so you can start charging, getting clients, and start making money. Now, before we get into the video, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please click on the subscribe button. I do always appreciate your support. I'm trying to grow this channel, and if you haven't told anybody else about it, please tell people about my channel. I think it has a lot of great videos. It helps people using the high level platform. So, moving into this, I'm going to start off with niches first. Right here, this is a document that I took from my free course. And if you're interested in the free course, I do have a description in the link, a link in the description below. But this is just like a 30 or 35 or something like that niches that you can query on Google to simply go after. Now, chiropractors, dentists, landscapers, massage therapists, plumbers, roofing, all of these are great niches, but how do you know where to begin on these? Yeah, how do you know what to choose from? Well, one of the things that I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about is the something called customer lifetime value. Now, I've got a bunch of tabs open because I'm going to be bouncing around with a thing, and this is really going to be kind of a little bit unstructured, but the customer lifetime value is a very important metric, and I'm not going to go over in detail. If you want to read about it, this right here is what it is. All it basically is how much is a customer worth to a particular business over the lifetime of that relationship. Now, what you're going to find is certain niches have very short-term connections with their customers. Others have more longer-term connections. Obviously, if you're dealing with more of like a med spa or a massage therapist, well, you might go get a massage once a month. And you might have that relationship with that person, that massage therapist for years, versus something like a roofer. Well, a roofer, you only contact a roofer when you need your roof replaced. And then once that roof's replaced, well, it's good for another 15, 20, 25 years. So you see, that's kind of the differences between customer lifetime value is some niches have like roofers, for example, have a very high customer lifetime value because even though the lifetime of that customer is only short, it could be within 30 days by the time a customer contacts a roofer, you go out and give a bid, you compare that to other bids, and then you choose a particular person for that job. And then once you choose the person for the job, they come out, they schedule it, maybe a week or two later, they drop the shingles on the roof, boom, they get it replaced in like a day or two, they're done, and then they're gone. Now, that's a very short term over the course of a few weeks or maybe even a month. But how much are you paying for that roof? Depending on the size of your house, you could be paying $10, $15, $25, $30,000 for a roof. That's how much the customer is worth to a roofing company. So that's the customer lifetime value, for example. And there are formulas in here. Like I said, I don't really want to go into this. I just really wanted to help you understand so that you can go back and do some research on this. But different niches have different customer lifetime values. Now, the higher that customer lifetime value is to a particular niche, the more people are willing to pay you as a software as a service company, the marketing company, to get them new clients. That only makes sense. Now, if you're looking at something like Starbucks, Starbucks, what's the customer lifetime value of Starbucks? Well, probably wouldn't be a great example because a cup of coffee is what, $3, $4, $5 or something like that, maybe more. But again, you might come back, day after day, but Starbucks really doesn't need, if they already got a brand, I guess that was a really bad example, but just other people like landscapers, take for instance. Landscapers don't necessarily charge a ton of money to do grass cutting and lawn care, but there are other services that landscapers offer throughout the course of the year. Like if you live in areas where you have leaf removals, in the fall time, leaves fall, you need leaf removals. What about, seeding your yard or doing some additional building. Maybe you want to have a certain area of your yard replaced. You're going to hire your landscaper to come in and put some new plants, shrubs, and things like that in. Well, if you look at it, a landscaper, and I don't know this for a fact, but their customer lifetime value, could be $1,000 to $1,500, which means that every time they get a customer, again, if they service that customer correctly, that customer is going to be worth $1,000, $1,500 to them. So here's one of the things I want to express, and I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself into some of the services, but every customer they miss, every call they miss, every website visit that they don't capture on there is $1,000 or $1,500 lost, just like that. So this is where you as the software as a service company or your marketing agency can come in and help prevent the loss of those customers, in a sense, making the money that they would have already lost to begin with. Okay. So what you're going to find out is you're going to have a lot of marketing agencies that target the higher end niches with a high customer lifetime value. on this one. That's going to be like roofing companies. Another one is like HVAC, sometimes electrical, plumbing. Some of these jobs, when you replace an electric box in your house, if you need to replace it or upgrade, that's going to be a couple $1,000. And again, that's a very short lifetime for the customer, because once you install the electric box, when are you going to call the electrician back out if everything's working right? So you're going to call them, get an estimate. If you like it, you're going to have them do the work. They're going to do the work. They're going to get paid, and then they're done. But that customer to the electrician is worth $2,000, because that's another job they could charge for. Now, another big one that people go after is solar. Companies that put in solar panels and things like that. Why? Because solar panels customer lifetime value is huge. I mean, you're talking $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for each particular customer. This is why solar companies can afford to spend so much money on marketing, because each customer they get is such a big payday for them. So hopefully that at least opens your eyes to being able to sit back and pick out certain niches that have higher customer values. Now, if I come back and just switch between these documents, chiropractors, again, chiropractors offer, repetitive monthly services that you're going to have to come back and get services over and over, because once you're messed up, you pretty much need to maintain your body. And that's what chiropractors do. No offense to chiropractors, but just if you keep coming down here, lawyers are another big one, especially if you have personal injury attorneys. How much would they pay for somebody that is going to have a huge payday, potentially even in the 7-figure paydays? How much would they pay for that particular client? So lawyers are another big one. They pay big money for leads that turn out. Pest control, maybe not so much. I mean, pest control, take it, you might come out every quarter and charge somebody $100. But if you do a good job, your customer lifetime value, you could have that customer for years and years and years, as long as you service them correctly. So again, each one of these has its own particular needs. So this is where most of the time, if you're going to get involved with a certain niche, typically you would have an understanding of like how that person does business, because how they do business is how you're going to build your automations and build your system, your sub accounts inside of HighLevel to support them. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, let me move on just to the next thing here. So besides customer lifetime value, we got that. Now, what are some of the services that you can offer? Now, here I'm going to have to enlarge this. Give me just a second here. But here are some just basic GoHighlevel features to offer. Now, one of the things I want to recommend to you, if you're going to start a software as a service company, provide services that have sort of fixed setup costs. So what I mean by that is, if you want to build people a website, could you build people a website? Could you build them a WordPress website? Could you charge them $5,000, $10,000 for that? Sure, you can. There's a lot of people out there that do that. But the problem with that is it's a performance-based. A lot of other social media marketing agencies do ads. Say, let me run your Facebook ads. Let me run your Google ads. Let me run all this other stuff. Great. These type of companies, get probably $3,000 to $5,000 a month from their clients for doing this. The problem is that it's all good. It's all good when the clients are coming in and the customer is making money. But what if they go 1 month, 2 months without seeing a customer or a payday? And they've just paid $5,000 this month, $5,000 next month, and they see money going out the door, but they don't see any money coming in. Well, the first thing they're going to cut is you and your service. Now, the reason they're going to cut that is because you promised them, or you told them or sold them on a performance of how many customers they're going to be getting by spending $1,000, $1,500, whatever that $5,000 is going to be spent in ad costs each month. So that's the problem that I see with that particular model. When you first get started with GoHighlevel, you can offer additional services. And I am going to talk about additional services that you can offer. But the basic services that HighLevel offers, that you can just set up one time and it works. And now the business can utilize that service to keep losing customers, keep from losing customers. And when they keep from losing customers, when they gain, let's just say if they were to get, 100 phone calls in a month, business gets 100 phone calls, statistically, 60% of those calls made to businesses either do not get answered or do not get voicemail returned. 60%. So out of 100, let's just talk about statistics. Out of 100 phone calls, 60 of them went unanswered, because some niches, and I'm just going to use like landscapers, massage therapists, things like that. These people do not normally have receptionists. They can't really afford to hire a full-time receptionist to be in their office answering the phone calls all the time. They just can't. Whereas things like a lawyer or roofing companies or solar companies, you can damn well bet they're going to have somebody monitoring those phones, because they don't want to miss that phone call. That's an expensive, those are the ones where the customer lifetime value is high. They're not going to do that. So this is where you kind of have to choose the balance of where do you provide these services from, because realistically, these services are best used for people who don't have anybody except the owners answering the phones, or they might even have a part-time person. that comes in and answers phones when they're there, but when they're answering phones, they're also doing invoicing or they're stuffing envelopes, because some people, believe it or not, still do direct mail to contact and keep updated with customers, like being able to send postcards out, like landscapers, hey, they send out direct mail to try to get new customers. Well, that's one way to do it, but just trying to give you an idea of how these things work. So hey, real quick, guys, if you're looking to start your own software company, then click on my free course in the link below. I'm going to teach you 8 ways that you can start your own software company very easily with no money out of pocket, no experience, and absolutely no tech skills. Check it out. Click the link below, and let's get back to the video. Right now, some of the things that are easy to do, most companies that are out there don't have a website. So websites are a really good entry point for being able to get into a business and at least, build them a website very cheaply, or even to give it to them for free. If you're tech savvy and you can just use one of the templates inside of HighLevel, you can easily create a website for them. Build is nothing more than just like one page. That's it. One page, website, call to action button. You've got, a calendar service call, scheduling button or something like that. A little bit about their services, FAQs, some very basic stuff. Now, once you build that, again, if you want to build it, you could charge them $500. You could charge them $1,000 for a website if you can. But right now, the biggest thing you want to do is get them on a monthly reoccurring scheduling system. So you want to deal with the hosting. So right now, they might already even have a website that they're not happy with, and they could be paying, $20, $50 a month from some of these other providers hosting their website. Well, they're already paying somebody to do this. Why not pay you to do this? Which is why you can take that website and you can actually say, hey, if we could take your website and remove your monthly expenses, and then we take over your website and provide you some of these other cool tools, would that be worth it to you to come on over? So in this kind of an example, when you do this, I'm going to pause on this real quick, but I just want to show you, because I hate talking about things and then not giving people a solution for how to do that. Now, one of my favorite sites out there, especially for high level, it's getting better and better, is a site called Fiverr. I am going to come back to this list real quick, but if you go to Fiverr, this is my account that I have. Fiverr has a lot of information. If you come in here and just simply type Go High Level, inside of the thing, you see Go High Level website, virtual assistant, website design, automation, agency, funnel, chatbot. You will find anybody on here that can do something inside of HighLevel for you very cheaply. So right now, let's just talk about websites. So let's just say if you come here, notice that, look at everybody's branded, HighLevel expert, website, sales, funneling. Could you sit back and hire somebody to say, hey, I want you to take this website over here, give them the domain, and I want you to create an exact duplicate over here, or change a few things, and just replicate what you see over there onto this in like a simple one-page website that just has, here's your services, all the Google reviews, the testimonials, things like that, call to action, very simple but yet elegant design on a website, and then pay what, 25, 50, $100 for Fiverr, and then turn around and charge your client $500. So you charge them $500 to migrate their site over, you migrate it over to HighLevel. Great, now you've got their website. Now they're kind of tied to you. This is one of the things I wanted to explain to you. Once you start tying the HighLevel business into their business as far as a daily basis, then you're going to be getting a customer long term. I wouldn't say for life, but as long as you treat them right, why should they? Because the software that you're providing and the services and the solutions to their problems are going to be well worth the amount of money that you charge them every month. And we will get into pricing a little bit later in this video. So this is just an example. If you wanted to do anything, if you want to build a chatbot, if you want to build anything in HighLevel, you can go to Fiverr, hire somebody that probably knows more than you, say, here's what I'm looking for. I want you to build this thing out completely. You give them access to the sub account, give them a little user account. They log in, they do everything they need to do. You sign off, everything's done, and then you close and delete the account, then they don't have access anymore. Charge a client $500, you pay them $100, you pocket $400, you tell the person, hey, you've got 10 days to get this thing installed and fixed. You coordinate with your client and everything's all good. So that right there is just a resource that you can use moving forward for anything related to HighLevel that you can outsource, charge your client a certain fee, outsource, pay them, and then make the sort of cost difference in the middle. So for those people that don't have the tech background, I at least want to be able to give that resource to you. Now, let me come back to the presentation here. So website building and hosting is one way to get in. Offering them a CRM. Most people either have a crappy CRM or have no CRM at all, or if they are paying for it, they're probably paying as much as you will charge them for the entire HighLevel platform. They're already paying for an existing CRM system that probably doesn't do what they're looking for, but they can muddle by with it. So if you kind of help them understand what they're paying for, and it's like, hey, we can consolidate your website hosting, your CRM, and some of these other things, and be able to provide call tracking for you through our missed call text back feature, so you never miss a client again. All of these features, once you set it in place, then they just work. Now, and I'll go through here before I kind of go to my next step here, but missed call text back, website chat widget, reputation management. All of these things are things that you could set up, and then the client can take it from there. Now, here's one of the great things about all of these things. For this stuff in here, you don't even need to give your clients access to your white label URL website. They don't even need to log into HighLevel. All they need is the Lead Connector mobile app. All you tell them is like, hey, I want you to download the Lead Connector mobile app, and everything that you need to do is inside there. Now, there'll be some training. You might want to create like a little video about how to use the Lead Connector app, or find a great YouTube video. I've got a great one on my channel, by the way, but it shows you how to use the Lead Connector mobile app, how to do everything, to looking at your CRM, to looking at your conversations area, to requesting a review through reputation management. All of that stuff can be done using the mobile app. So they can pretty much run their business from wherever they are. They don't even have to be there to be able to respond to customers and get sales. That is a great feature. Again, one of the things when you're first starting out here, Rob Bailey is a great guy, and I love a lot of the stuff that Rob says, but one of the things that he says is you want to sell the solution, not the features. Okay, so don't get tied into missed call text back, website chat widget. If you start saying these things to your clients or potential clients, they're just going to glaze over. I mean, they're not going to understand where you're at. It's almost like womp, 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 womp. That's kind of all they hear. So some of the things you want to say is, we're going to sit back and host your website here for you, so you don't have to pay those fees any longer. We're going to implement a new feature that's going to contact and create a text conversation with every customer that calls you, even if you can't answer the phone. So you make sure you don't lose a customer. That's a solution. Who cares about the missed call text back feature? Just sell them on the solutions. Hey, we're going to be able to get you more reviews and follow up on those reviews so you can get more 5-star Google reviews, which in turn is going to get you more customers. Don't talk about reputation management and all the features and all this other kinds of stuff. Sell them on the solutions. So please do that. Now, calendaring, scheduling, being able to integrate Google My Business, Instagram, Facebook, all your social media together into what I call just a universal inbox. Call it whatever you want, but having a nice little term is really great to just say, hey, a unified inbox, whatever you want to call it, but just something where no matter where people contact you, this is a time where, if I've ever, or when I talk to clients, if I sit back and say, hey, you got a Facebook page, you've got a Facebook business page, how many requests do you get on there? Oh, great. Do you check your Facebook Messenger every day? How do you know when somebody contacts you? How quickly does it take for you to respond to them? And sometimes it'd be like, you know what? Sometimes I don't respond. It would be like I look at my Messenger, the message was a week ago, and I don't even bother responding. Well, this right here is just another way to say you don't have to go check all of these different platforms. We're going to pull all of these messages into one inbox for you, and you're going to have access to it using your mobile app on your cell phone. Pretty cool. So one place is going to pop up a little notice saying you've got it. You click on it. You'll see where it's from. You can reply back right there in the app right away, and you're never going to lose your customers again. So that's another great feature. Local SEO. So how many people just, can't get customers because they can't be found? They're just not listed in the right business directories. So depending upon where you're at, I know myself, I have an iPhone. I'm an iPhone user. Now, if I have an iPhone, I'm going to go to Apple Maps. That's sort of my default way I go look for things. So if your business is not listed on Apple Maps, by the way, it's not listed by default unless you specifically go and register on the Apple Maps website to have your business listed. It's not listed there by default. So if I go search for, that list, chiropractors near me, dentists near me, and you're not on there, and your listing is not even set up on your Google My Business listing is not on Apple Maps, then I'm not even going to be able to find you, which means you're losing customers simply because they don't even know you exist. So having the local SEO, this is another way that you can include, rather than charging them for it, you can just include Yext into your service, which is another thing built into HighLevel. And again, once you turn it on and you get all their business information listed, it's like a set it and forget it. Forgive the expression, but you just set it up and it just works. It syndicates out, it updates all the online directories, and now people can be found in their business. Now, all these things on here, are pretty much like a one-time setup, like calendar. You might have to set it up, spend 30 minutes setting up a calendar, but once it's set up, it just works, on there, and you could teach them how to do it, and you don't have to sit back and support them. Of course you support them, but you get what I'm saying. They can do it themselves. Now, the last thing that HighLevel has that's really great is being able to provide AI responses to things. So over the last year, HighLevel has really gone a long way to providing just automated responses to, whether it be to messages that come across, any of these features, missed call text back, chat widget, you can sit back and include AI to automatically respond with any of these. Now, the cool thing about some of these things is that you can even program the AI with a particular client's website. You can go out and say, hey, AI, search this website and search a bunch of other stuff to get all these frequently asked questions. So you're basically teaching the AI what people could ask so that when it responds back the correct way. So you can do all of that now. You can do AI responses when you leave Facebook reviews or Google reviews. You don't even have to respond to that. Once you set this up, the AI system can just respond automatically and boom, you're finished and done. And that's going to save the business time for doing that. So these are just some very basic low-level services that do not require a performance-based system in order to get them set up. Once they're set up, they're done and they're finished and they work, and then they're charging you every single month for these. Now, again, if you can integrate any of these services into your client's business as a line of business application, like if you go in there and most people have a cash register, right? Or what they call a point of sale system. Well, if they log in and they have a point of sale system, could they do business without that point of sale system? Probably not. So that point of sale system, whenever they get sold on it, they're going to pay for that over and over again, a subscription every single month to it because they need it to run their business. Now, when they see the value of you, they're already paying for a website. Why not, instead of paying somebody else, why not pay you? And when they need any changes to their website, you're the person that they call. So you can host their website, you can create the CRM, you can set up all these features that allow them to return client calls automatically. If you wanted to, you can set up AI responses. Now, of course, the more and more services that you provide to somebody, the more expensive, meaning the more their monthly service charge is going to be. So this is where I want to sit back and kind of start getting into some of the pricing. Now, before I get into pricing, I just at least want to be able to give you another resource. Besides local, there's also just regular search engine optimization. These are a little bit different and people use them interchangeably. But to me, local SEO is just the ability for somebody to search for a local business and find you. And realistically, that's just being listed in the correct online directory search engines and being able to have your profile configured with all the keywords that are relevant to your business. So let's just say they want you to, now they want to, it's not just a local business, they could be a national business. They want to open their business up to anybody across the US or the world. Well, when people search with Google online, how do they find that particular person? Well, now you're coming into true search engine optimization. Well, guess what? You can provide that service because there are what they call white label SEO partners, white label search engine optimization partners. Well, you bring your client to them. You pay them a certain amount of money depending upon how much SEO they want. So the white label partner pays, they charge you, and then you could charge your client whatever it is that you want for that. Now, I am not affiliated with these people. I'm just showing this as an example because I was Googling earlier and found them. But please, just don't hold me to it or anything like that. Check them out. But this right here is white label SEO firm. Now, this right here is basically what I'm talking about. This company, you bring your clients to this company. They charge you, here's some of their pricing plans, $389 a month for low population areas under 200K and things like that. And you'll have to talk to them about their services. I really don't know. But what they're doing here is they're saying, we'll charge you $389 a month, okay? And then you could charge your client $999 a month. Now, when you start doing this, and this is just for search engine optimization. You could do this exact same thing for Facebook ad agencies or Google ad agencies. There are white label agencies out there that will do your ads for you, where the exact same setup. They'll charge you so much per month, and then you in turn can charge your client so much per month. Now, I'm just saying this because we're going to be talking about pricing. Now, when we talk about pricing here, this is where, depending upon your niche and their customer lifetime value, you will be able to sit back and understand how much money a business like this can afford to pay based upon how much customers are worth to them. So I'm hoping all of the stuff I've been talking about here are now kind of coming full circle. So now you start seeing how much I charge them is directly related to how much the customer is worth to them, because the more customers I can save them, the more money they make, and the worth of my service every month just skyrockets. I mean, if you're going to be making them this much money, they'd be happy to pay you what you're asking because you're saving them money, you're saving them time, you're centralizing everything that they've got, and you're providing them a one-stop shop for helping them run their business. And it's not just them anymore, because most business owners build a business out of necessity. They need a CRM, so they go find one. They need a calendaring service, so they go find one. And they never sit back and look, do these really work together correctly? They never do that because they're always so busy trying to run their business. They never look at it. They just deal with how much time it takes to go back and forth with all these different systems. So anyway, this right here is just one example. If somebody wanted SEO, then you can add this additionally to their service. You can say, sure, we will charge you, to do SEO, it'll be $1,500 a month. $1,499 a month is what we charge you. This is what we can provide for you. This is what you're going to get out of it. And then the customer can say yes or no. Now, you can also do the same with Facebook ads, with Google ad agencies, find out how much they cost. Because if the business wants to grow, they're going to have to run some kind of ad. They're going to have to do advertising of some sort if they want to continue to grow. And when they grow, they're going to need to be able to run ads, which means why not come to you, their go-to partner, their software provider, to help them run ads so they don't have to deal with another agency or somebody like that. And then now you can sell them some of the things that we talked about earlier when social media marketing agencies are charging them $3,000, $5,000 to run their ads and things like that. You could charge them that too. So this is where you can start making that money. And then for some reason, if the client does not want that service anymore, you can turn that marketing service off, but the base software as a service business, the business solutions that you're provided, they still stay with you. Okay. So yes, you're getting all of this, $3,000, $5,000 a month to run their ads, and you're getting an additional X amount of money per month for their business solution systems that you provided. Well, if they don't want this ad system anymore, if it's not working, or they just want to turn it off, they could turn that off. Great. But you're still getting that monthly recurring revenue by providing the software to help them run their business. Now, I've been talking more and more about this. What I want to do is I want to give you an example site. I want to give you my site. By all means, this is my business site. It is called SMB 360. And this right here is, let me just kind of go back. So this right here is, look at it. This is a base template. This was not my design. I actually got it from somebody else, and we'll sit back, and I thought it looked good. So running your business with it. But if you take a look at it here, use my site, steal it. I don't care. Just make money and be successful here. And if you're looking to get signed up on High Level, I am a High Level affiliate. Just use my link. I give you a ton of stuff. I give you this template and a bunch of other stuff as bonuses whenever you sign up, especially support by me. So, right now, if you're on the fence with it, go ahead and get signed up, get my free course and all the bonuses once you get signed up. But for this right here, if you want the pricing, here's an example. Now, right now, we've already talked about niches, how to choose a certain niche, why you should choose a certain niche, what services to provide. Now we're going to be talking about pricing and how to build packages. So you can sit back and start looking at other people's websites, look at some of the High Level group. If you've already signed up and you remember the group, look at somebody else's agencies, look at their website, see what they're offering, look at their packages. But this right here is just something that you could take a look at here. And I'm not going to go over all this because you can simply do it yourself, but just smb360.io. That's the site. So go take a look at it here. But these plans are $247, $397, and $497 a month. Now, why so cheap? Okay, right now, because these right here really appeal to smaller businesses that are trying to get started. Now, if you were actually going after a roofing company or solar company, then you would have to create a whole new package for them, because the services that they need are going to be a little bit different. They're not going to need all of these services. They're probably already going to have some of this. They're going to need more higher end services, maybe like ad work and things like that, and some of the business automation to help follow up with customers. But again, that's going to be the difference between what that niche needs and other niches. But for general businesses that make, let's just say, between $100,000 and $300,000 a year, or probably even up to $500,000 a year, these small mom and pop businesses are still owner operated. They're running, but the owners are working a lot. They can't afford to sit back and pay people. And these right here are perfect plans that fit very well into their monthly recurring revenue. So it's up to you. You can charge whatever you want. That's the beautiful thing about it. But I at least wanted to give you a basis of all the things that we talked about here in this platform regarding all the services, give you some resources like Fiverr and some of the white label services, because at some point, you probably have never even known that these services even exist for you to utilize in your business. Well, now that you're awake and your brain is now aware that you have these other resources, imagine how you could start scaling your business once you start getting them into these pricing plans. What if you can get them on just the more popular $400 a month? So $400 a month would be your baseline, or $397. And then you sit back and start charging them $1,500 for white label SEO and $3,000 for ad work. You see what I mean? So now that customer, that client's making a lot more money. Why? Because they have an underlying business system that works very well in capturing contact and customer information. So why would a business want to spend $3,000, $5,000 on ad to have more people call or go to their website or whatever they're doing to their business when they can't even handle the amount of customers that are currently calling them from Google My Business or their other online listings? Does that make sense? So once you bring the system in place, the high-level system that we talked about using these features right here, missed call, text back, website chat, widget, reputation management, calendaring, scheduling, all of these things, now you're providing them a streamlined business system that allows them to respond to customers with their mobile app very quickly, just from one app without having to sit back and be in front of a computer and search across all these different platforms or look at 3 or 4 different apps to try to respond to people. They can go to one app, respond, get customers, and if you wanted to, using this AI system, which is why I asterisked it, using AI to actually respond to these people in real time and getting them, the purpose of AI is ultimately to get them to book an appointment, to schedule a service, to schedule an estimate, whatever that is for the business. That's what it's there for. So again, once they have that underlying business system, they can pay you to do ads because now they want to begin to scale and grow. And they can do that because you help make that possible using the GoHighlevel platform, using these base features to implement into their business. So I hope you found the video useful here. And you can tell I'm a little bit passionate, excited about this, but hopefully you found it just useful and really great to get your business started. If you did, hit the like button, hit a comment, share the video. I just want as many people to know this as possible because this is a very common question I get with people who sign up under my affiliate link when they're looking to sign up and start their own software company. We pretty much go over the exact same things that are in this video. So hopefully you found it useful, and thank you so much for visiting my channel, and have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're looking to learn more about the GoHighlevel system, platform, and maybe you even want to start your own software as a service company, click on the description below. I offer a free course, and this course goes over all the things you would need to know regarding HighLevel. I even teach you 8 ways that you can make money with a HighLevel system with no experience, no tech skills, and no money out of pocket. Check out my link in the description below, and have a great day.